The door wasn't on any blueprint. Rusted, deadbolted, whispering air through a seam. Marcus steadied his breath, flashlight trembling. If he opened it, something old and deliberate might rewrite the map of Washington. He turned the wheel. The city seemed to exhale. He called himself Marcus. No last name, no past. An urban explorer who mapped whispers. In 2037, when budgets thinned and agencies fled, buildings became mausoleums. He hunted the places left unremembered, streaming only to a trusted handful who craved the hush of forbidden air. Rumor said the annex hid a sealed maintenance tunnel. Older workers spoke of it softly, like a superstition with teeth. Demolition crews were due next month. If there was a map beneath the map, this was the last chance to see it before the blast made all questions moot. Behind a torn utility map, he found bolts that didn't match the wall. The panel groaned free, coughing dust. A narrow throat fell away into darkness, stenciled with numbers painted over numbers, history smothering itself. Marcus clipped a tether to a pipe, clicked on his light, and dropped in. The air sank 10 degrees. No rat scurry, no drip, only a low electrical murmur without a source. Paint lines striped the floor, yellow over white over gray, each layer pointing a different way, as if routes had been rewritten, then regretted, then hidden again.
He pinged his private channel. 3 watchers replied with emojis and a beeping heart. Signal dipped, returned. The compass in his wrist strap spun, then locked stubbornly north, toward a blank wall. He laughed once, too loud. The laugh didn't echo. It just went away. Facilities, sublevel C. Below it, smaller text had been scraped away until only scars remained. Someone had tried to erase a thought and failed. Marcus filmed the gouges, then followed the arrow into a corridor that kinked at a not quite right angle. The kink multiplied into a hallway that lengthened as he walked. Ceiling tiles mismatched like a shuffled deck. The buzz of fluorescence came from tubes that weren't on. He passed a door that should have led back. It led forward, because the space had decided so. His headlamp flared across a water fountain clamped shut with a zip tie. A dead fern beside it, crisp as paper. A wall calendar hung to a month that never existed, Smarch, printed in official government fonts. Someone had gone to trouble to make nonsense look routine. He marked his path with chalk arrows. Minutes later, his marks faced the wrong way. His camera's timestamp slipped 6 minutes backward, then corrected. In far rooms, a fan chopped air, but there was no wind. You learn to ignore ghosts, he told himself. Focus on edges, not echoes.
Department of Corridors, Office of Room Numbering. A mail slot addressed to whom it may concern, building itself. Satire? Or a system biting its tail? He slid a finger into the slot, cold like the back of a coin. He withdrew a shred of blueprint paper, damp at the edges. The fragment showed the building's bones, and a layer below labeled Revision Null. Stairwells connected to themselves. Corridors doubled back without consuming distance. In a note margin, do not recognize this floor plan. Recognition risked something, but what? He folded it into his pocket. He tried a stairwell. Steps descended, then ascended, then plateaued into an echo that tasted like tin. When he re-emerged, the hallway smelled of lemon cleaner, though no cleaning had been done in years. Fresh footprints in yellow residue led away, boots wider than his. A maintenance ticket encased in plastic. Date: 11/31/2034. Task: Reseat anomaly seal. Crew: M redacted. Checked: no. The plastic wasn't old. It flexed warm from the wall, as if the concrete had a heartbeat
and the paperwork was skin. His watchers typed, "You okay?" He thumbed a reply, then froze. In the reflection of his phone, a hallway over his shoulder stretched farther than the building's footprint allowed. He turned. The corridor had multiplied into a honeycomb. Every exit sign pointed to a different truth.
He planted his tripod, breathed slow, and called out, "Any crew down here?" The hum dimmed, then answered with a second hum, half a tone off, like a room learning speech. His radio spat a single word through static. Continue. He hadn't pressed transmit. He obeyed, against judgment. Doors opened to offices without furniture, only outlines where desks had stood. Sun-faded rectangles existed underground. A memo on the floor described a drill. If disorientation persists, adopt the building's perspective. The paper felt heavier than paper. At a junction, a convex mirror reflected a corridor that didn't exist. In the plastic curve, a hazard team in white suits walked briskly, passing through Marcus without touching him. He turned to meet them. Only settling dust remained, like snow burned in an instant. His chalk returned, coiling across a wall into letters that spelled, "Stay or go." He hadn't drawn that. The curve of the S mimicked his marking habit, but the phrase seeded itself. He whispered, "I'll go." A door clicked behind him, as polite as a maitre d'. Beyond, a storage bay cradled industrial racks of servers, fans unmoving, LEDs dark. Coiled among them, plumbing, wet with condensation, glistening like nerves braided onto silicon. A placard read, "Topological Stability Unit. Warning, layout is a live system. Do not hot swap rooms." He traced a pipeline that fed into a concrete plinth stamped with coordinates that didn't map to Earth, numbers slightly wrong, like a dream of latitude. An inspection sticker bore a signature he recognized, his own first name, dated next week. His mouth went dry. A locker stood ajar. Inside, a field guide with crisp pages, title, "Emergency Refactoring Procedures." Margins annotated by multiple hands. Step 1, name the room wrong. Step 2, agree upon the wrongness. Step 3, cut power to conviction. He heard footsteps that had no feet. He reached the room named Center, spelled the British way on a US tag. It was circular, a throat of light. In its middle, a column of white noise trembled like a mirage, architecture half-rendered. If the building had a brain, this was a thought trying not to be. He circled the mirage and saw, within the shimmer, replicas of rooms he'd walked, like reflections in misaligned glass. Every replica had a Marcus moving, a frame behind. One paused and looked back almost at him. Not quite. The radio cracked. Acknowledge layout, then refuse it. He spoke like a bureaucrat delivering a denial. This room is mislabeled. The center is a broom closet. The shimmer stuttered. Ceiling tiles above rippled like a pond hit by a pebble. This corridor is a cul-de-sac. Air thickened, as if reality weighed the petition. A breaker panel sat beside a warning. Do not kill power while occupied. He remembered the field guide's step 3, cut power to conviction. He pulled the main. Darkness claimed the geometry. For a heartbeat, the world had no corners. Then the siren began, a cold animal with lungs of steel. In the red pulse, walls twisted, choosing another answer. Exit signs marched in a circle, each leading to itself. The column of white noise pooled into the floor, spreading like mercury. Touch it, a voice suggested, a suggestion with teeth. Marcus cracked a flare instead. Heat painted a way down. The stair opened like a mouth lined in playground carpet.
a 1990s pattern repeating to the horizon. He descended through the smell of crayons and wet copper. Children's art was tacked to cinder block, smiling suns, buildings with eyes. The siren muffled as if underwater. A door labeled "Temporary Forever." Behind it, a classroom without exits, every textbook blank. A bell rang once, a tone the length of a lifetime. On the chalkboard, "If found, please deny us." Morcus erased the sentence. The room sighed and folded like paper. He climbed until the carpet's colors inverted, then vanished. The hum settled into a patient breath. At the top, his original chalk arrow awaited, crisp and sure. The rusted door sat ahead, now clean, painted beige. Its wheel spun freely, eager, like it wanted him gone.
2 hours lost. Outside, dawn bled over the Potomac. He sealed the panel, hands shaking, and filed his report to the only place that might listen, the network of wayfinders who never ask for proof, only directions. His stream cut. Black screen. Battery full. A week later, demolition charges turned the annex into memory. Dust drifted over the mall like a second sunrise. On a dozen screens, his footage reappeared from anonymous accounts, each with a different corridor he hadn't walked. Officials denied everything. Denial, perhaps, was the seal.